Welcome to MTG Card Market. I am Phil Silverman, joined, as always.
Most of the time.
Yes.
My name is Greg Schaefer, and we are going to be watching 3 rounds of Legacy tonight.
Yep. We had a solid field of 8 players, and we actually have a match starting right now, so we're going to hop down to the play area.
Because we are on time.
Yes. And we got Kyle Houtman on the left playing Esper Tezzeret. It's pretty close to the blue-black Tezzeret deck he's been playing for a while, but he decided to try a few white cards in there. I know Stoneforge Mystic is a big draw for him. And Nathan Mullen playing Storm.
Didn't get unbanned in Modern, so just wanted to get that urge out in Legacy.
Get his fix, so to speak.
Yes.
All right, you got a good Taxing Pro from Nathan starting things off, and we see Kyle's hand that's got some good stuff. Pretty good 6-card hand against Storm.
Yeah, I mean, if Nathan has the Probe plus Cabal Therapy combo, he can take the Chalice of the Void, but if he doesn't have that, I could see this getting kind of problematic.
Oh, yeah, the Turn 1 Chalice is just such a beating, and Nathan does not have the duress. He has Preordain, Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, and a couple lands, but nothing powerful to go ahead. Right now, his best shot is probably just a Preordain and hope to find some 2-drops.
Yeah, like definitely getting a 1-drop out of your hand seems great. And I mean, right now he only has one more 1-drop in the Dark Ritual in his hand. See, you can beat Chalice on 1.
Yeah, you can beat it. It's just pretty hard. Just if your hand's not already naturally, sort of incidentally set up for it, then you're left to sort of hope. Like right now he sees Ponder and Lotus Petal, so the Ponder has to go.
Okay.
Because I can't not gonna go keep both. But does he keep Lotus Petal here? Like Lotus Petal's mana's good, but
it is.
It's not gonna win him the game,
right? Like, is there any? I don't know. Is there going to be any question in Kyle's mind of, do I set this Chalice to 0 or 1?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you just immediately play it to 1.
Maybe if he didn't have the Soul Land, he would just get it down on 0.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually it's like if you have 2. You set the second one, and now Nathan is in a world of pain. He does have Infernal Tutor, though, so if he just manages to piece together a string of perhaps Cabal Rituals or 0-mana artifacts,
right,
then he's not actually in the worst shape.
Yeah, I mean, the clock coming from Houtman is unlikely to be super fast.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe Nathan will also try, maybe casting some of his 1-drops and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine play. Kyle playing Pluto Delta, killing his City of Traders, and he's going to fetch up a Tundra. I think we're going to see Baleful Strix come down this turn. But next turn he's got probably the only real clock provider in his deck in Tezzeret.
Yeah, he's going to turn his Chalice of the Void into a 5/5 maybe.
Probably. Jam.
So then it will it will really be the thing that kills Nathan.
Yeah. The biggest issue with getting Chaliced is that you're sort of left... it's really hard to kill someone with Past in Flames now because your artifacts are the main way you're going to generate mana.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get any value off of Past in Flames. So instead, you're left to either win through Ad Nauseam, which is, as always, pretty risky.
Especially when a bunch of your hits are non-castable.
Yeah. Or just hope to naturally Storm. And that's pretty tough to do unless you just draw a lot of Lion's Eye Diamonds. So right now, Nathan has 3 lands, a diamond... and at least 1 petal.
It's just so rough because he can't even craft his hand more with Brainstorm, and Dark Ritual is a dead card.
Yep, Dark Ritual and Brainstorm are both completely dead right now. Yeah, he just has 1 petal, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. He can cast Ad Nauseam this turn.
Okay.
I think that's what he's going to do and just hope to get there.
Just hope to get a lot of 0s and 2s.
It's not the worst idea.
Yeah, it's likely not getting any better.
No, that's the main reason I think that you want to go for this. You can't really be greedy in the face of what Kyle's presented.
Right.
So you just have to go for what you need.
Yeah, make your 30 or 40% play or whatever.
Yeah, and if he hits some number of petals and I thought about the Dark Ritual right there. If he hits some number of petals,
gonna do it anyway.
Yes. I think that's reasonable.
Charges Cabal Ritual later on.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But now
does he not have
he
enough?
might have main deck empty the Warrens.
Ooh.
That's what this is indicating to me. So Nathan cracking Lion's Eye Diamond in response. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
So this is for
2,
5?
3, 4, 5. Yep, 10 goblins.
Sure.
Go.
I mean, from Hauptmann's side, so he has Baleful Strix as to trade with 1, and past that, I mean, he has Tezzeret in hand, but is it just gonna be too slow?
It seems like it will be.
I agree.
Hey, David. How's it going?
What is up, David Byer?
Yeah, this is Nathan rearranging his graveyard and then realizing that the order matters.
He drew Jitte.
That is
Does that do it?
not the worst thing in the world.
He can kill 2 goblins per cycle, or just gain 4 life.
This actually might be able to pretty easily race these goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna put Nathan to 15, and this would tilt the living crap out of me right
Yeah,
here.
that's pretty silly.
Your like look at the cards on your opponent's side of the battlefield.
Yes.
This is just an amalgam of goofy cards. The GTA is really the one that stands out the most.
Well, it always feels bad. Well, it would feel bad in a situation like this, just because the GTA is a one-of.
Yes, absolutely. You didn't even Stoneforge for it.
Yeah.
Although any Stoneforge is also a pretty good draw for Kyle at this point.
Agreed.
Kyle drawing.
Oh,
and
perfect.
Speak of the devil, he's got the land too, so he doesn't need to take damage. And
Batter Skull is the next get.
have to imagine.
I assume.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought Nathan was gonna have the resources to get through this, but
And then got destroyed on 2 draw steps.
yeah, for real. Yeah, Kyle's deck being very kind to him.
Based on these hand gestures from Nathan, I feel like he thinks he got a little unlucky.
Possibly. I'm not gonna. We won't comment on that. I mean, it's not unreasonable for him to think that.
Oh, I commented. Tinfin and Snowy, welcome to chat, and we do have a new interface.
Yes.
Well, I guess we used it for the first time on Saturday when we did Modern for 10 rounds.
Yes, 10 whole rounds.
Yeah, Phil and I hate each other now. But there were a couple of small kinks that we were figuring out on Saturday, and
I think this looks a lot better.
yeah, and they've been corrected already.
Yeah, Mark has done a great job putting this together for us. So, I want to look up ye old Batterskull. Batterskull, man, Batterskull used to be so common. You see this card all the time in Modern, at least, and now just nowhere.
In Legacy.
No, in Legacy, I think you still see it about the same amount, maybe a little
sure.
bit less. There might be a list available. I mean, from my understanding, yeah, block. From my understanding, the list is very similar to a blue-black Tezzeret list, just shoehorning 4 Stoneforge Mystics in there. Oh boy, yeah, and then Nathan's done here.
Instead of the light splash of red for things like, I think, sideboard, like Sudden Demise, and a couple other,
And
like
Deck
Deck
Fade.
Faden?
Deck Faden
Right.
is, I think, one of the big draws.
So instead of that, he just has white cards, which gives him 4 Stoneforge Mystic, and that allows him to play a Batterskull and a Jitte.
Yeah, where normally you wouldn't see those cards in the deck. Instead, you have sort of a different angle of attack, which lets you get aggressive,
Yeah.
which the deck sorely lacks.
Right.
I know Kyle's sideboard in particular is pretty hateful towards Storm today because he lost to it last week pretty badly.
Yeah, I mean, with these local tournaments, you could, you're kind of expecting who's going to show up each week.
Yeah.
And most people have been, starting to settle on one thing they like playing the most.
Sure.
I would say.
I mean, Kyle's pretty much been playing a Tezzeret variant for the last couple months.
Yeah. And Nathan's been playing Storm for
a while
half
now.
a year
Yeah.
plus.
He's always had the deck. It's just how much he wants to play it.
Yeah.
But I know that Kyle just didn't have a great sideboard configuration for it last week, and he wanted to try this white version because of some of the sideboard cards as well.
Ethersworn Canonist.
Yeah, and I know that's one. He's got, I think, a couple copies of Ethersworn Canonist in his deck. Probably has Flusterstorm, which is the single best one drop through Chalice of the Void. Honestly, it's insulting as a Storm player.
Yeah.
I find that so frustrating that my opponent just still gets probably the best counterspell against me.
It's a similar kind of insult that Treasure Cruise through Thalia had for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same for Dig Through Time.
Oh, wonderful.
Did not feel good.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see a pretty different matchup post board. Like the focus for Kyle remains the same, where he just wants to play Chalice on one and ride that.
Sure.
But wait, did I just see Kyle's sideboard out of Force of Will? What is happening here? I see Lodestone Golem and
He
Trinisphere.
doesn't want the card disadvantage.
What?
All right.
What is going on?
All right. I think
that back in the
I
deck.
think he's messing with us.
Yeah, that looked like a elaborate troll right there. Yeah, Baleful Strix seems much worse. I know that it's hard to keep the blue card count.
Right, exactly. He didn't. He was just trying to be savvy.
He's just being conscientious about the number of blue cards he's put in his deck.
And he's probably just trying to troll.
I mean, the troll would be strong.
Yeah.
I do like cutting some Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic is not outstanding in this matchup.
No, I mean,
like it gives you an angle of attack, but it's not part of your plan A.
It's good against Empty the Warrens.
Yeah. All right. Now, once he's showed you Empty the Warrens, but I think Kyle sideboards in. Yeah, Storm did take game one.
No.
Wait, no, excuse me. Tezzeret took game one.
Yeah, that was a funny game. So Nathan, TX Rager, if you missed it, Nathan had main deck Empty the Warrens, and to play through Chalice of the Void on
turn one.
He just made 10 goblins on his turn 3.
And it wasn't enough, because Kyle drew Jite after playing a Baleful Strix immediately.
Yeah.
And then drew Stoneforge Mystic.
Yep. So yeah, Empty the Warrens is beatable. Sometimes.
Yeah. Nathan looking at his hand and then just immediately mulliganing it. I don't even know he gave that even a second look. Kyle looking at his opener right now. He has kept in Jite. He has a Chalice of the Void, but he doesn't have a Soul Land. And he has Lodestone Golem and Batterskull. Ugh. I mean, this is
what you signed up for.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking about when I see this hand. All right, Nathan's 6. Looks like Kyle has kept this.
Nathan's hand seems fine.
Yeah, it's a hand that's extremely soft to Chalice of the Void.
Sure.
Which is...
I guess it also has 3 lands? Or is it only 2?
I'm not sure, but he does have a Brainstorm, so
Okay.
it will alleviate
all
some
good.
issues. And he quickly topped. Combo here.
Ooh.
All right, we get to see Kyle's hand.
So, do you think... So, does he have the discard spell? I missed that.
Not in his opener.
Okay.
It might be on top of his deck, but it's definitely not in his opener.
Okay.
If he does have it, you are definitely taking Chalice of the Void.
Yeah,
and it's not close.
I agree.
Chalice of the Void is just such an utter beating.
It's a very powerful card.
Very hateful card.
Restricted in Vintage, right?
Recently.
Recently.
That was a very new change to the banned and restricted list.
Yeah, pretty, like, format quaking or, like,
Oh, yeah.
shaking. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's good for the format, personally. Not as a Vintage expert, but as someone who likes it. But
as someone who maybe is not that inclined to play shops, if you were into that format.
God, I would not play shops. Shop sounds terrible. Brainstorm resolving here for Nathan, drawing land, Abrupt Decay, and a Dark Ritual. So he's not in the worst spot here.
No.
He has an answer to the Chalice. He has an Infernal Tutor. He has a Dark Ritual. He's actually...
His hand seems fine.
It's actually pretty close to going off.
Right. Even through Chalice on one next turn.
And the best thing that you see, like I think this is a reason why Kyle was thinking about sideboarding out some Force of Wills, is there are no blue cards in Kyle's hand right now. 0. He has a 7-card hand.
Right.
None. And that's easily the biggest risk playing, I think, the Esper deck with you're playing your Force of Wills in it. You just are not guaranteed to hit that often.
Yeah, maybe like 18 cards or something like that.
It's very low, whatever it is. Kyle fetching here on the end step. Just going to pick up a Tundra. Has no Brainstorms, so the holding onto the fetch lands is pretty irrelevant. And 19 and 20 is the same against Storm. When you go to 18, you start having decisions because of the fact that Nathan gets a Storm for 1 less.
Sure.
And that's something you definitely consider as a Storm playing against Storm. But we'll see what Kyle gets to do here. Mox Diamond is a pretty good draw. That means any land lets him cast a Lodestone Golem next turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what Kyle's hand was definitely lacking, was just fast mana of any variety.
Yep.
I mean, he had a Signet, but that's not really like legacy level of unfair fast mana.
Actually, this is working out really well for Kyle because he has the Signet, because he gets to go play Signet. Yeah, I was wrong. He doesn't need to draw a land.
He can play Signet.
And play Chalice on 1.
Yeah, yeah.
And then next turn, he has Lodestone Golem no matter what. Mm-hmm. Which means that Nathan has to win through this... it's, I'd say, in general, harder to win through Lodestone Golem than to win through Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, but you can't Abrupt Decay it.
Well, that's not really why. But
because it's also hitting you for 5 a turn?
Oh, I was just going to say because, like, it's not crazy to have the right number of non-1 drops.
Sure.
But it's
Okay.
really hard to win when you're just paying like
3,000.
7 extra mana or whatever to
Yeah.
get there. You just need an absurd amount of mana. Although it's non-artifact.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for your Lotus Petals and LEDs.
Oh, that would make me so sad if that happened to me.
Probe.
I think I'm going to probe to 15.
He already knew about the Lodestone Golem.
He knows the whole hand, actually. All these were in Kyle's opener. Draws an LED. Oh, boy. Are we close? We have...
Yeah, I think he has it, right? LED gave him enough mana.
He's going to go through it. He doesn't even need to go through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is going to have Threshold, too.
So pop it for red.
I think this is a Past in Flames kill. Yeah, this is a Past in Flames kill. Cool.
Yeah, so he had enough black and red mana. Well, he had enough black mana to float. Because I think his Cabal Ritual had Threshold there.
Yes, all he needed was 1, because then he gets to go 3 into 6.
LED is a crazy card.
Yes. The best part about Storm is that you get to play Black Lotus in your deck.
Yeah. And Dark Ritual.
Yep. It's
just,
real fun.
Just Dark Ritual.
You get 4 Black Lotuses in your deck. Come on, how is that reasonable? So Nathan taking game 2 there. We're going to get to see a game 3 between Storm and Esper Tezzeret. Oh, God, I love Storm so much.
You know, we've been seeing it a lot lately. I kind of want to build it.
Why would you just... I have the... What is wrong with you? Okay, I'm just gonna quick aside here. Greg messaged me the other day saying, "Should I sell Miracles?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I don't really get a chance to play Legacy, so I."
What's the point of having 2 Legacy decks?
Yeah.
I don't even get to play Death and Tax as much.
5 minutes ago, I think I'm gonna build Storm. This is what I don't want to build. I don't want to have cards in Legacy. I do want to have cards in Legacy.
It's
More.
You
want to have multiple decks.
There are a lot more commons in Storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
I
Anyway.
really should have held on to my LEDs from a long time ago when I got them for $3.
Probably.
Should have held those.
Ooh.
Would make it a lot easier now.
So you have Death and Taxes, Calgar. I don't know. You could play if Death and Taxes is too close to your modern deck, I don't know. Do you want to play a Force of Will deck? Is your question, or do you want to play a combo deck? Do you want to play a Miracles type deck? Do you want to play Bug? Shardless Bug? I don't know. You have a lot of options.
I would recommend Death and Taxes.
Said not Death and Taxes. Death and Taxes was ruled out.
Why?
Too close to their modern deck.
That sounds great.
Great. Thank you. All right, so Kyle looking at his 7, he's going to ship it back. Nathan's 7 looks interesting. He has a Crozen Grip, which I'm a big fan of. A Duress, but only 1 land. I believe he also has he's got Ad Nauseam in there. So
I wonder if Crozen Grip came in after seeing Lodestone Golem.
I think Crozen Grip was always coming in.
Okay.
Because it always kills Chalice.
It does, but how many Abrupt Decays, how many Crozen Grips can you afford to have?
I saw Nathan's sideboard in 4 cards, so I think it was
3-1.
I think he might have also had either a Rebuild or a Hercules Recall.
Okay.
Which are pretty common to show up. Does Legacy Storm play Dark Petition? Yes, usually. It's between 0 and 2 are the most common numbers of that card. I know Caleb Scher, who's had a lot of success with the deck, generally plays 2.
Yeah, he's probably the person he plays a lot of SCGs, so the results will, skew towards him.
I think he's won 2 5Ks with it.
Yes.
He won the Invitational, and it wasn't Legacy, that was Modern, right?
Not a standard specialist. Plays a lot of the Legacy 5Ks.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a better run of it as of late.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely a Storm Master, it seems like.
All right, Nathan fetching on turn 1, and he's going to get a Duress, getting the Chalice, and this is exactly what you want to see. Now you just want to hope that Kyle, bricks as long as possible.
Doesn't draw one off the top.
Yep. My feelings on Dark Petition are that it's completely reasonable as a 1 of, and probably fine as a 2 of, but you can't really play more than... personally, I prefer 1, because I like playing 2 Past in Flames.
Okay.
Nathan drawing for the turn and draws the perfect card.
So playing a second Past in Flames, it's just another big action card.
Yeah, it's a big action card. It's specifically great against decks with like a lot of counter spells.
Sure.
That's where I like it the most.
Whereas having a second Dark Petition might be better just for explosiveness.
I guess so. Like one wins the game better.
Yeah.
Dark Petition is worse against counter spells, is what it comes down to. Like,
Okay.
it's better against fair decks. It is more explosive. You have multiple Past in Flames, so you can fight through a lot of like Force of Will type decks.
Yeah.
Past in Flames, because like having more than one puts you in a position where you're free to just fire one off.
Okay.
Like not a non-lethal one in particular. It's interesting in Vintage that a lot of people run 4. I know Reed Duke said he doesn't like 4. He said it's just like a clunky card that. Again, he mentioned the fact that it's not good against counter spells, and how that sort of bothers him with putting that many in his deck.
Right.
All right, Nathan probing twice here.
Yes.
We'll see if he's got a kill. His Storm is 3 right now. He's got a couple as. This looks very much like a kill.
And he knows that the coast is utterly clear.
Yep. 5 mana, 6 mana, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I don't know how this
7.
could not be a kill.
Oh yeah, no, this is certainly a kill.
This is way overkill, I think.
Yep. This is. Actually, don't even know if he needs to cast Past in Flames. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nathan taking this one down. Kyle had a pretty subpar 6-card hand that he basically had to keep, I think.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
So it was 4 lands, Signet, Chalice of the Void.
Yes.
I think that is far better than your average 5.
I would agree.
So I would definitely keep. Of course, I mean, it's obviously extremely soft to 1 discard spell, which is exactly what Nathan had. So.
Yeah, and it's funny because discard spells are at a weird spot in the matchup in general because they're so poor against Chalice. Like, you're pretty incentivized to cut a number of discard spells in the matchup because of how poor they are, especially on the draw.
Yeah, it's way better on the play when you can, like, turn 1, take Chalice before they can go Soul Land Chalice.
Yes.
But if you're... Yeah, I mean, he really needs answers to that, and it is more mana efficient if you can Duress instead of Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
But you just... The way the deck works is that when you're sideboarding in general, you're pulling out parts of the deck for other parts of the deck that are the same.
Right.
So, like, when specifically your points of interaction are going to change. So, oftentimes when you're boarding an Abrupt Decay, you're shaving on discard spells or the like.
I guess a caveat to that is when you're boarding in extra copies of, like, Empty the Warrens.
Yeah.
Which is where you're boarding up on kill cards.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, like, you might be cutting Dark Petition.
Sure.
Something like that. You might go on less Past in Flames. Past in Flames is a card that you can cut.
Yeah.
Like,
if you think that that's not how the matchup's going to come down.
Or if you think they're just, like, going to have a lot of graveyard hate.
Oh, okay.
Like, specifically Rest in Peace type effects, then Past in Flames just doesn't do anything. Like,
yeah.
Like, against, like, a deck, like, a 4 Deathrite Shaman deck, you probably still leave in Past in Flames, especially if they have Force of Will. But if they don't...
If they're, like, a Leyline of the Void deck.
Yeah, if they're like a 4X Leyline of the Void deck, you can get away with cutting Past in Flames. Yeah. We actually saw Kevin do that last week. Kevin Kingsley.
That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, Kevin moved away. I'm so sad.
Yeah, he moved to Denver, right?
He did.
Because his girlfriend lives there?
Yes. He's been moving to Denver, apparently. He said for, like, the last 8 months.
Okay.
But that's all right.
It's a slow move.
Dutch, I like Esper Mentor. I think it's pretty sweet. I am like a pretty loud critic of Deathblade. I think Deathblade is just like a really awkward smattering of powerful cards. Your cards are definitely good, but they are just so non-synergistic.
Yeah, I kind of always thought of Shardless Bug as just like a more focused Deathblade.
Yeah, you like play less colors, and you're a better Deathrite Shaman deck, and I don't know. Stoneforge Mystic is not as powerful as Goyf in general.
I mean, agree to disagree.
Right? Okay.
No, Goyf is really good.
Yes. So I'm going to go and see if there's another match going.
Okay.
Would you want to entertain the crowd?
Yeah. Chat, you can ask me questions, and I'll answer them truthfully.
But only about Death in Texas.
No, it can be anything.
Okay, anything. Right,
I would just prefer if it was about death. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Oh, I should mention if any of our regulars or just people in the chat right now were not aware, Phil and I did a coverage here at Card Market this past Saturday of a modern 2K, and it was actually 10 rounds. It was 7 rounds of Swiss, 3 rounds of top 8. So that was like by far the longest cast that Phil or I, and especially together, we've done. So if you are interested, the archives are on Twitch, and I think we did a pretty good job. The stream got cut into a bunch of different parts because we were issues with the internet that day, but I think that's still worth a watch, at least part of it, just to see how it went. Geoffnish, hello in chat. And also, if anyone is in the Midwest region coming up, I think the next major tournament that Phil and I are going to play is going to be SCG Regionals, which is going to be in Rosemont, Illinois, right by O'Hare Airport in Chicago. And yeah, we will both be there. I don't think either of us know what modern deck we're going to play yet, but we have at least another 8-9 days to figure that out. Geoffnish, Affinity won the 2K. And I would say, if I had to summarize what happened, so this was like the day after the Modern ban kicked in, so like no one was quite sure what was going to happen with the metagame. And it turned out we had 8 different decks in the top 8. But if I had to say what the like story was about the metagame for the day, I would say that Affinity did really well, also wound up winning the tournament. Infect also did well, and I would also say that Tron notably did not do well.
Our round is actually already over.
Okay.
But we have a match set up. We've got Kyle Norman.
Beautiful.
Yep, playing against Zeke Spira.
Okay. 2 good players.
Yes, and in a matchup that's like pretty interesting.
Is Zeke still playing Maverick?
Yes.
And Kyle is playing Reanimator?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Reanimator is favored.
I would imagine.
But I have to think that there's going to be some crossover in some similarities in the way that the matchup works as to Death and Taxes versus Maverick, and he's definitely Shaman in his deck too.
You mean Death and Taxes versus Reanimator?
Sorry, yes. He has access to Karakas. He has Knight for
Yeah.
Karakas. Like Elishor doesn't just win the game. No card just wins the game. Like Grizzlebrand comes close.
Yeah, even like Iona doesn't.
No, I think Grizzlebrand's going to be his best card most of the time. But Karakas is a big deal.
It is. I wonder.
Grave Titan, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about Grave Titan. That's like the go-to to beat Death and Taxes. Also, Tidespout Tyrant can be really annoying if they have the right kind of hand.
I like Tidespout Tyrant quite a bit.
Oh, and so I was talking about the Modern tournament when you were up there. I would also say if anyone's interested in the archives, I think the best, most interesting game that we covered was Game 3 of the quarterfinals, which was Zach Witten on Blue-Red Delver against our eventual winner,
Brennan Walsh
playing Affinity. And Gear per Aether Grid did a lot of damage.
It was a very long game, and it was very awesome.
Affinity beat an overloaded Vandal Blast and
is it Staticaster that never died.
Yes.
Never. Didn't move.
However, neither did Brennan's 2 copies of Darksteel Citadel, which go very well with Aether Grid.
It was a phenomenal game.
It was awesome. It was a really great game.
You're going to have to deal with the stream cutting in and out a bunch, but it was very good game. All right, let's hop down to the play area and see if our players are ready. It looks like they are. Just getting a little bit of a shuffling through.
I'm excited to see how Kyle does with this deck. He's one of our players who probably switches decks the most.
Easily the most. He has pretty significant deck ADD.
Yeah.
But also he has one of the largest collections.
Yeah, he has
here.
most legacy decks.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I know that he sort of moves around a lot because he likes playing different decks. I mean, I would switch if I had a bunch of different decks as well.
Yeah.
But I don't. I have 2. Yeah, our internet's been fine tonight, Dutch. We had just a number of issues before, but it's been a lot better. Oh, do I have them switched? I do have them switched.
Good job.
I'm so dumb.
Phil is great.
Norman! My mistake.
Yeah, it is.
I can also restart this.
Oh, good job.
Woo! I'm doing great, Greg.
I think you're doing phenomenal.
I'm doing great. Excuse me. I'm out of control. But yeah, we got a Miracle Stormland. Good lord. What are you missing from Dredge if you have Storm?
Yeah.
Like, Bridge from Belows? I don't even know.
City of Brass.
Yeah, that's the one. Cephalid Coliseum. Can't afford them. Yeah, anything but Goyfs is my modern collection in general.
Sounds good.
I have a very large modern collection, I think, except I just don't have Tarmogoyfs. I don't have Burn either, but I also just would never play it.
Yeah.
God, never. Wouldn't happen.
But you would play Sun Titan. and Lone Missionary.
Lone Missionary is like the opposite of Goblin Guide, effectively.
Effectively.
Do you think Kyle is splashing in his deck?
Splashing green?
Yeah.
For
Or red.
Abrupt Decay.
For Firestorm.
Firestorm, I am not going to get behind.
Firestorm is probably amazing against Maverick.
Yes. I would say it is. Also, Grizzlebrand might be good against Maverick too.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Gibbous, 4 Bazaars? Yeah, I'll just send them right over to you.
I don't quite know what's happening with... All right, I think Kyle is mulliganing to 5.
Perhaps. We'll see. He's definitely mulliganing. That much I've understood.
I think those 2 tick marks below the 20 on his side are mulligans.
Ah, that makes sense. Zeke has kept 7, by the way. Looks like a fairly normal hand. He's got Turn 1 Mom. He's got Kasali Pride Mage. Pride Mage is not irrelevant in this matchup. Depending on... Well, I guess it depends if Kyle has Animate Dead in his deck.
Yeah. I don't know if Zeke necessarily knows what...
I'm sorry. Taylor, that story is still so good.
How do you have -1 buys?
Showed up late for the tournament.
Ooh.
Showed up late for the Grand Prix.
Nice.
Gets after pre-regging. Just unbelievable that he cashed that Grand Prix.
Sounds good.
You can tell that story yourself, Taylor, but that is one of my favorite things. -1 buys. Come on. All right. Zeke started things off with a fetch and a Mother of Runes.
You need a lot of PWAPs for that.
Yeah, you do. Is that green-white?
That is, I assume, it looks like green-white.
Man, I have a tough time telling.
They look...
That's green-white. That's
very
Savannah.
similar.
That's Savannah. There's green on it. All right.
Is there?
Yeah.
I think it's just brown.
Yeah. Careful study showing up here for Kyle. Let's see if he's got a fatty to discard. You can ask Taylor about that.
The thing about Reanimator mulliganing, it's probably the best deck in Legacy at mulliganing. Like,
it is outstanding at mulligan.
you need so few... You need 3 cards. You need, a land, an Entomb, and a Reanimate.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's
very-
like a nut 3-card hand.
Plus you have stuff like Lotus Petal.
Right.
He got auto dropped and they put him back. Oh, my God.
Okay.
All right, so Kyle dazing Zeke's turn 2 Mother Thalia,
yeah.
making his life a lot easier for now. You're right, Gibbous. Dredge is actually better at mulliganing. Dredge is probably the best mulliganing deck in the format. And Kyle has not discarded a fatty yet. I don't think he's.
No, I think there's a Grizzlebrand.
There's a Thoughtseize, and there's one card we're not seeing. If that's a Grizzlebrand, that'd be pretty impressive. All right. Kyle drawing the insulting daze with right after the Thalia comes in.
Perfect.
There's an attack for 2. Thankfully, this is not a super relevant clock. Oh, for a second, I thought this was the post-combat.
Yeah, I thought it was
Pride
too...
Mage. But no, Zeke is going to go for Stoneforge Mystic, which does let you go get the sword, which will speed things up.
Being stuck on only 2 lands, I think I would actually get Batterskull.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just going to take too long to both play an equipped sword, I think.
It's a pretty similar clock.
All right.
I always forget that
He
Zeke
just
has
goes
Sword of
for it.
Light and Shadow in his deck.
It's
Lands in...
funky.
Yeah, if we're Star City, we would make him rearrange those. Oh, yeah. The end step Brainstorm for 2 mana.
Well, there's...
Reanimate an Elishnorn?
Yeah. Elishnorn seems pretty good right now.
Gotta get it in the yard, though.
You do. And he already cast 2 Careful Studies. Is that Fade Stitcher? It looks like a Fade Stitcher, but it cannot be.
Do not believe that is the card.
It might be Hapless Researcher,
That is
right?
significantly more likely.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle
Seems
untapping.
like Hapless Researcher.
Draws what may or may not be Hapless Researcher.
Yeah.
We're not going to say. And a pass. Nope. It's definitely not then.
Then I have no idea what that is.
Nope. It's okay. We don't need to know everything.
It's a blue card. Is it Tidespath Tyrant? I'm really not sure.
We'll figure it out. You could stop guessing.
I need to know.
You're so particular.
I am.
Kyle
really
fetching
am.
on end step, getting rid of that Elish Norm, which he cannot get into his graveyard currently.
Maybe he'll just cast it.
I mean,
Maybe that's ambitious.
it would be like a little less ambitious. I'll pull up Hapless Researcher. I am not certain it's in his deck, but it's shown up quite a bit in the past in Reanimator decks. It's just a one-time. It's like it's half a Careful Study on a guy.
Yeah, I think Kyle told me he was deciding between playing Hapless Researcher and Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Ooh. Oh,
so he just had other sword in his hand. Okay.
That seems good.
Yeah, it does seem good.
It's possible. It's possible he doesn't have Batterskull in his deck.
It's very possible. I did see Jitte when he was palming through, so yeah, he probably just doesn't have Batterskull in the deck.
Yeah, if he's playing 2 swords, there's no way he has a 3rd equipment in his deck.
Yeah, for his 2 Stoneforge deck.
Yeah. Zeke trying to remember if he's played a land this turn. He has not. Fetching here. This is a real. I mean, Kyle basically has to put in something powerful this turn, and if it's not Grave Titan, I think he's just dead.
Sitting at 8 life.
Because he can't even get Elish Norn. I guess Elish Norn
does a lot.
Stem the bleeding, as long as Zeke doesn't have a Swords to Plowshares.
Right.
Yeah, Elish Norn would be good. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's fantastic. 3 mana Daze it.
Can he? Drew Thoughtseize, but
no, Elish
he doesn't have Elish Norn in his hand anymore.
No, he shuffled it away.
All right, so he really needed Entomb there.
I mean, even if he had a Grizzlebrand here,
yeah,
he would die exactly to the put in sort of Light and Shadow, put it on Thalia.
Sure. Also, he doesn't have enough life to pay, actually.
I mean, he has exactly enough in the sense that he will die. He will die immediately.
Okay.
But yeah, Reanimate looking pretty bad here. He could reanimate the Kasali Pride Mage. Oh, he doesn't want to do it. No, but then he could kill the sword.
Great.
Kyle, no! Would have been likely a futile effort there, I think.
It seemed pretty futile.
But yeah. Going to game 2 here. Maverick taking down Reanimator. Thalia did a lot of work.
Thalia was great.
Kyle also is. So I think often my biggest criticism of Reanimator is, despite the fact that it can mulligan very well, it can just not do anything.
Yes.
I think more so than sort of similar to Sneak and Show, but you don't play as many cantrips, and you have to play Careful Study, which means that you're
going down
gonna be,
cards.
Yeah, you're rarely gonna have as many cards in hand as your opponent.
Yeah, and you're also, I mean, a lot of your draws are pretty weak to even one piece of direct hate.
Yes.
Like a Deathrite Shaman.
Yep. Deathrite Shaman is extremely annoying to play versus. We'll see what Zeke has to bring in. He's got, looks like a Gaddock Teague, which doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
I think he has a bunch of copies of Thoughtseize that he's deciding on.
I wouldn't be surprised if...
Priest.
Containment Priest is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I kind of envision that Kyle's going to bring in more show and tells if he has more on the board.
Yeah, I think so, especially playing around any...
Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman shenanigans. Zeke's deck does play 4 Deathrite Shaman in the main deck. But... Keep yourself under control, Greg.
I really can't.
We'll see how many copies of Pride Mage he leaves in. Thalia is also really good. Thalia showed itself to be very, very good in this matchup.
Yeah.
The Reanimator deck has an extremely low curve, but it's surprisingly mana hungry, I think.
Yeah, they don't play many lands. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see
great.
We'll see how these post-board games go. I know Kyle was he really wanted to try the new Sphinx.
Yeah, Sphinx of the Final Word.
We'll pull it up here for a second. Sphinx of the Final? Yeah, that's it. Sphinx of the Final Word.
Nailed it.
He said he specifically wanted to try this against Miracles.
Yeah, I can't. This would not be the exact matchup for it.
No. Although it never dies.
You can't kill it. You can't Caracas it. It's not the worst.
It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. I think
it can be erased by many things.
Yeah, especially once you've seen sort of Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
I think my argument was that I think it's going to often be worse than Grave Titan.
Yes.
But I think we both have very soft spot for Grave Titan.
I am a fan.
It's a great card. Have you ever run Barrel Rights to one?
No.
I have. It's good.
That does sound very good.
It's specifically good. Sure, it does get Terminus. But everything gets Terminus.
Yes.
Even Grave Titan gets Terminus, and I think Terminus is probably still your... Grizzlebrand's probably better against... I think Grizzlebrand's often going to be better against... Miracles.
Sure.
The best one, in my opinion, against Miracles is Sire of Insanity.
Yes.
God, that's great. Mind twist you.
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
It's pretty sweet. All right. Kyle's showing us. Wow, that is a truly foul hand.
Gotta love this deck.
Oh, for a second I thought he was going to keep that.
No.
Triple reanimate and nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, Sire's a nice one. Yeah, Terminus doesn't hit Gaddock.
Like Gaddock is pretty insane against Miracles.
Aetherling, yeah. Aetherling it doesn't hit. Aetherling is actually pretty nuts.
Yeah, I think it might be worse against the newer iterations where maybe you can actually race the Aetherling.
Oh, with like Monastery Mentor?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if it's a quick Aetherling, it's probably still going to be good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that, but like, if it's a closer game, Aetherling might not be powerful enough to do it by itself.
Yeah, Jeff, that's where I've played Grave Titan the most, is in Gifts. Just having a Grave Titan in your deck is so good. Because sometimes you draw. Actually, I'd say often it's the David Kleischer pod school of thought.
Yeah.
You put Grave Titan in your deck as a one of to draw it.
Yes. You put cards in your deck to draw them.
I've watched David Gleischer play pod more than like
anyone should,
and I've never seen him pod for Grave Titan. But
yeah,
I have.
He always draws it.
He always draws it, and he always casts it, and it always wins the game.
Yeah.
Or he gets countered, and he just Eternal Witnesses it back. All right. We'll see if Kyle has kept his 6, and he has scryed to the bottom.
Looks like this might be a land light hand.
But he does have a basic, which is pretty great. Ooh, careful study. Let's see if we actually have a fatty.
There was a fetch as well. Thoughtseize, Brainstorm, Polluted Delta, I think, among cards in his hand.
But do we have a fatty?
Thoughtseize, Abrupt Decay is the bottom card, I think.
He's perfectly positioning it so we can't see
it. It looks like a gold card.
Ooh, and Zeke's starting things off with the Deathrite Shaman.
Okay.
And it resolves. No days. Be interested to know how many dazes are actually in.
Alright, well, there's an Entomb. But...
might be late to the party.
Yeah.
Here's a Brainstorm. Unless you can get 2 fatties in there pretty quick, that's...
Is that Massacre?
Not going to be good enough.
Yeah, Massacre in hand.
Chaps, man, everything kind of needs more Esper Charm, though.
So, Massacre a way to kill Deathrite Shaman.
Yep, that is not bad. Wait, Massacre Worm?
No.
Okay.
The card Massacre.
Man, you got me excited for a second. I was like, yeah, let's do that.
That also would kill Deathrite Shaman.
I mean, he can hold that for a little bit.
Yeah, you can play that for 6 mana.
Wow, that's pretty nutty, Taylor.
So it looks like Kyle considering putting back Brainstorm on top of Entomb.
Interesting.
So leaving himself... Alright, so fetching away. I wonder if we're just going to see Massacre right now.
Yeah, just go get a Swamp Massacre.
Yeah, because... So for Massacre, you can play for free if your opponent controls a plains and you control a swamp.
Yep. That's why, What was that ridiculous Thomas Enevoldsen story?
Oh, how he just like didn't play a plains the whole game?
He knew going into a tournament that the main Death and Taxes hate was going to be Massacre. So he showed up to the tournament with no planes. He played 4 Seacrum Coast, 4 Razorverge Thicket in his deck. Which is true psycho stuff.
Yep.
Alright. Kyle casting Massacre for free here. Looks like he does have a copy of Entomb left in his hand. And thankfully, he has played around Wasteland pretty well here for his purposes.
Thalia?
No.
Stoneforge. Way
Although
worse.
I think he would be able to beat a Thalia here.
He would. I don't know if he actually has a reanimate effect in his hand though.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell what's going on with these cards since they're all foil. Foil or alternate versions.
We know he has Entomb at least, but I'm not sure about that last. It's a blue card, I think.
Taylor, what are you trying to link? Yeah, no links. There we go. Did that make it visible?
Made it visible for us.
I mean, I see it. We'll see if people can see it after I post it. I mean, I could try posting it here. There we go.
Moobot's not going to smack us down.
Yeah, we're moderators. We can do what we want.
All right, here we see end of turn Entomb. Do you get Elishnorn here?
I have to think so.
It seems like the...
Or, honestly, no. I think you get Grizzlebrand.
Okay. Yep, all right. When in doubt.
Well, here's the thing. If he gets Elishnorn, he can't just draw 7 cards.
Right.
But if you get Grizzlebrand, you can draw 7 cards.
And you might then also have Elishnorn.
Look, the possibilities are somewhat limited, but close to endless.
Significant.
Kyle gonna draw for his turn.
That is an Underground Sea, and is not a reanimate effect. Is that? It's not Flush. What is that card?
Is this Exhume?
Oh, okay.
It is Exhume.
All right.
So Zeke's gonna get a Deathrite Shaman, but Kyle's gonna get a Grizzlebrand.
Yes.
I like one player's card more than the other.
Well, Deathrite Shaman's banned in Modern, and Grizzlebrand's not. So I think we all know which is more powerful.
Grizzlebrand's not banned yet.
Yet.
Ooh, a lot of good hits here.
Do you think?
There's another Massacre. Probably just play that. Wow.
Yep.
He has so many Massacres in his deck. He has multiple Massacres?
It's hateful stuff.
Yeah.
This is a matchup where Massacre is a lot better than Dread of Night.
Correct. That's this. Well, yeah, to an extent. Usually, the one reason Massacre tends to be pretty poor is Gaddock. And
All right.
Zeke is done here.
Yep.
We've seen enough. We have no board. Our opponent has a Grizzlebrand and a full grip. I think this game is over.
Yep.
Going to game 3 here. Tied 1-1. Zeke is going to be on the play for game 3. Okay, I think he forgot to board in his Containment Priest. He might have not known.
Yeah, I think he didn't know what he was playing against.
I think, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So what cards did he see?
He just saw Careful Study.
He saw a Careful Study, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what he thought. But I think it's, I don't know what deck Zeke thought it was, but it's clear that he did not realize it was Reanimator.
yes.
He had 4 Thoughtseize and 2 Containment Priests in his sideboard. Those both coming in here. Gonna be a lot better. I think we'll see. Yeah, he boarded in like. Oh yeah, I think he boarded in the Gaddock.
I really wonder what he thought he was playing against.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But either way, he'll be properly configured for this next game.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of just dirtily cards that he can board out. Yeah, the Sword of Light and Shadow is not great. I think the only equipment you actually want is Sword of Fire and Ice in this matchup. Would you agree?
Well, Light and Shadow has some amount of charm because
It attacks the black creatures.
yeah,
Yeah.
attacking through Grizzlebrand or Grave Titan.
And it does make your guy live through Massacre.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can get behind taking Jitte out of the deck, but leaving 2 swords seems okay.
Interesting. So I think Zeke sided out Gaddock. I would be pretty tempted to leave in Gaddock just for turning off Massacre.
Specifically Massacre.
Yeah. Once Kyle's shown you 2 copies.
Yeah, I wonder if Zeke has any other cards that are just worse. I mean, he might not post-board. Like, he might have so many good Hate Bears coming out of the sideboard. Like, however many copies of Containment Priest or Slam Dunks.
Yeah, they get 2 copies of Containment Priest. He's going to have 4 Thoughtseize.
Like, Pithing Needle's also fine. Like, turning off Grizzlebrand, maybe.
I'm not a huge fan of Pithing Needle.
Okay.
I think Pithing Needle is a weak solution to what your opponent is doing because
Sure.
I think he'll just die to a 7.
Fair.
That's often the problem with like Pithing Needle against a Grizzlebrand deck. It's not like in Modern where you're playing against Shoal where like they need Grizzlebrand to kill you and combo you out. Like this
They
deck
can
this
just attack.
deck puts Grizzlebrand into play and it stays there.
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
Goriosing it. All right, looks
That
like
looked like no lands for Zeke.
Yep, had the Containment Priest, but no mana with which to cast it, so he's quickly going down.
Containment Priest is a really good card.
It is.
It hoses so many decks.
Yeah. Ooh, Needle Polluted Delta. I do like that. If you have like the 4 like I imagine when you're playing a deck like Lantern Control that like roughly 75% of the time your first needle is naming a
whatever their fetch is most likely to be a 4 of.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just for that beautiful getcha moment, especially because usually, in my experience, when you needle a fetch land, your opponent just draws 2 of them.
Or just shows you the 2 that were in their hand because they're so frustrated that they can't not show you immediately what you did.
Well, it feels good, man.
Yeah.
It feels good to just get them.
And it feels cathartic to show it, you know? You're not suffering in silence.
Yeah, exactly. It's a group laughing moment instead of a pitiful
shared experience instead of a
crying
moment
yourself
of solitary misery.
All right, both players gonna look at their 6-card hands here. Zeke's hand looks reasonable, but pretty light on interaction. And he even has he has like 2 Green Sun Zeniths and the Dryad Arbor in his hand.
Well, yeah.
Sees Swords to Plowshares on top.
He does not. Plow is. Very tempting, and yeah, you probably just have to keep it. All right, so he has Knight, Green Sun Zenith. Is it 2 Zeniths, you said?
I thought so. We'll see.
Yeah.
He has at least one Green Sun Zenith.
Right.
And
he has lands. He has Plow waiting for him.
This is my favorite start. Is just Dryad Arbor pass on turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sadly common start in Elves.
Sure.
I hate it. It's miserable.
What's worse, that or Plains Go?
Plains Go is pretty horrible. Kyle starting things off with a fetch down to 19. Yeah, Plains Go. Why'd you even keep?
You can't walk him. You just can't.
As much as you'd like to. We'll see if Kyle has a careful study to start things off. Have to think that Kyle's going to be fetching basics as often as possible in this matchup. Maverick is a pretty good mana denial deck. It's a Thalia deck, you know.
Yeah.
So often fetching basics is going to be the best possible action. Although we did watch a game the other week where a player fetched 2 basic lands to play around Maverick's mana denial.
Yeah.
And then just could never cast any of their spells.
It was Kyle.
It was Kyle. It was this Kyle.
It was
Kyle
this
Norman.
exact person.
Yep. But here, I mean, I think he was playing a 3-color deck then. This is a
4-color Allurin.
Oh my god, it was Allurin. Yeah, this is that was maybe much more ambitious than this. This is a pretty streamlined 2-color deck, so I think he'll be all right. Let's see if Kyle has a fatty to discard. We'll finally get to see it if he does.
Kyle has not had the smoothest Reanimator draws.
Hey, Nettle Sentinel. Sometimes you have to. I've killed people. You can kill people on turn 2 with Dryad Arbor Go hands. Is that the Sphinx? That's the Sphinx, right?
That is Sphinx of the Final Word.
I have to look up the art.
The black card under it is Grizzlebrand, though, right?
That's Sphinx of the Final Word? I believe so. Look at that Sphinx.
You know,
there.
I think one of them coming back is more likely than the other.
Look, one of them can get swords and the other can't.
It's a very good point. One of them also, draws 2 new hands.
Yep. All right, Zeke gonna Zenith for 1 here after a fetch.
Okay, this makes sense.
Oh, Gibbous, that's not very nice. Dark Blasting at turn 1 Dryad Arbor. Ugh. All right, Kyle gonna draw.
Drew Grizzlebrand. Let's see if he has a reanimation effect right now. And he does.
Yep, Exhume.
I have to imagine he's just going to get Grizzlebrand. But
I think so too.
Yeah.
No, this is significantly better just given that you can draw 7 and just discard a bunch more creatures. He can't eat all of them.
Right. As long as he discards 1 more, he won't have enough time to eat both.
Yep.
And then you just Exhume or Reanimate next turn again.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that Zeke decided to fetch a basic land here instead of going for a Savannah.
Yeah. I wonder if he's trying to play around Massacre.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
Actually, I think it's almost a certainty that that's exactly what he was trying to play around.
Yeah, I mean, he would get completely blown up by Massacre if Kyle did have it here. Wonder if Kyle's another reanimation spell, you probably just put the Sphinx in play too.
Seems fine. I mean, it takes off 1 turn from the clock.
I mean, it's also just a giant idiot.
Yeah, that it can't be killed.
Mm-hmm.
It's Zeke might have the answer for the Grizzlebrand, but there isn't really an answer for the Sphinx.
Unless he boarded in Day of Judgment. I don't know what it could possibly be.
I mean, you could put a blue sword on a flyer, or just a flyer plus Mother of Runes, but all ambitious things to happen quickly enough.
I think we're gonna see Elesh Norn.
Yeah, that'll be mean.
Oh no! Come on, Kyle.
Sometimes Reanimator does this.
Where's your fun? Your sense of whimsy?
I would say that Reanimator is one of the spikier decks in Legacy, honestly.
I'd agree. Ooh, Tidespout Tyrant. That's probably just as mean. I think he had a bunch of Lotus Petals in his hand.
Yep. That'll be unbeatable.
Yep. I think I'm gonna have to agree with that statement. Entomb Resolve and getting Tidespout Tyrant here. Tidespout Tyrant, this is sort of one of the go-to fair cards. I think this is the original go-to fair card in the deck.
Is the island supposed to be tapped here?
For what?
I don't know. Omnivian said in chat.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be. I think that was last turn.
He exhumed using, No. Isn't it supposed to be tapped?
For what?
From the, Petal and Exhume, right?
Petal and Exhume. Oh.
Okay.
Is that this turn or last turn? I'm confused.
We got. I gotta go check.
All
The
right.
Grizzlebrand hasn't been playing.
Yeah, you can run out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Omnibian. We will try to figure this out quickly. Or Zeke will concede. Well, awkward. I think Phil just arrived to tell them what happened. But also, I think that Zeke was just dead. We'll see what Phil says about what the players said about that. Alright. So I think I'll bring it back to the booth now. Ooh. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Tidespout Tyrant. This is the unusual reanimation target that Kyle's trying out. Not sure if it's quite good enough. Like, in the matchups where you want it, I wonder if this is actually better than Aetherling or not. My guess is no, but it's hard to say. The thing about playing in that game still is Kyle's just gonna be able to draw another hand. So what did?
So it was a mistake that shouldn't have. The island should have been tapped, but yeah, that match was over anyways. I mean, him paying for the days was not relevant.
Yeah.
Like Zeke is not beating Tidespout Tyrant plus Grizzlebrand in any scenario.
No. Did not seem like it.
But yeah, Zeke conceding there. We do have a game 3. In another match.
Okay.
We have Ned Katie Yip, who hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, I think he's been traveling. Like, I think his family lives in California.
Yes, he's from California originally. Yeah. Yeah, Ned's back. Good to see him again. And we actually have him playing Kyle again. Kyle Hauptman.
Other Kyle.
Who we saw last round.
Mm-hmm.
But Ned, he wanted to keep things fresh. He wanted to play like a new deck.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He's playing Bug Delver. Ned always plays Bug Delver.
One deck.
One deck, play one way.
I respect it.
I want to see if they're... Okay, yeah, so both players are here. Oh, no, this is Kyle and Zeke getting away.
This is them moving.
Great.
One of the nice things about our new table layout is that the camera is now mounted into the wall.
Yeah.
So our players don't have the chance to kick the camera when they're standing up, which is basically the best thing that's ever happened to me and Phil.
It's so nice. It is so incredibly nice to not have to think about that.
All right, so it looks like we have Kyle Hauptman, sorry, on the right here, and he is the player that we saw playing Esper Tezzeret last round. Kind of got destroyed by Storm.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan drew very well in all those games. Like, I'd say both players drew well in the games they won, like really well.
Okay.
But like Nathan, like his hand wasn't very good in game 3, and he just brainstormed into kill you.
Yeah.
Like his hand was pretty far away from winning, and then
Storm probably has the most powerful brainstorms.
Well, they're the most swingy.
Okay.
I'd say you go from...
If you brainstorm into 3 lands, you probably just lost the game.
Yeah, but on the plus side, you play like 14 lands.
Yeah.
So it's pretty unlikely you brainstorm into 3 lands. It's a delight. I love playing the deck. But it's the brainstorms are completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just very easy to go from nothing to killing your opponent that turn.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen enough of them here where it's like they just brainstorm into Dark Ritual, LED, Infernal Tutor, and just like why would anyone not play this?
Yeah, the permanent camera is a huge deal, Jeff.
We just got that technology though. We developed it in store here, so that's why it took so long.
It's proprietary.
Yeah.
Please do not use it, or we will sue you. But it's been extremely clutch. I'm very excited about never dealing with a kick camera ever again.
Yeah, it's sweet. Now we can focus on our fashion.
Yes, so to speak. Is it a little dissonant that I've said that I've written Bug Delver and not Sultai Delver? Or will the chat just eat me alive if I do that?
Bug versus Esper?
Yeah.
I like it.
I know you do.
I know Ned prefers Bug Delver.
Ned would be upset if I wrote Sultai Delver.
I think he would, yes.
All right, both players kept their 7. Ned going to start things off with a Ponder. Get those 1-drops out of the hand before Chalice comes down. Ooh, so 2 good spells in a land.
Yeah, I wonder. So he has 1 threat in Tarmogoyf.
Yes.
And is that also a Bob or?
At
Does
least
he have mismatched Tarmogoyfs?
No.
Okay, because one kind of looked like a Modern Masters, but
Well, actually,
else.
it's actually pretty possible he does. I'm not gonna speak to Ned's goifs here.
Yeah, 2 Goyfs.
Are they different? And they're different art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, looks like he has Toxic Deluge in his hand.
For
Respecting the Stoneforge package, I guess.
respecting the Thopter Foundry package.
Okay.
I think it's just so he can basically lethal through a bunch of tokens.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, big start here from Kyle. Mox Diamond.
Ooh.
Resolving.
Dutch in the chat played against Ned at GP Seattle. Yeah, Ned is a very, very courteous opponent.
Yes, he is extremely, extremely nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's an extremely nice dude, and he always plays Bug.
Yeah, so it's great because you always know what you're playing against.
Yes.
He'll change, like 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah, but he's very skilled with the deck.
Yeah, it's tons of experience.
All right, looks like Ned kept the Maelstrom Pulse and the Abrupt Decay. He's got a lot of answers to this Thopter Sword combo right now.
So do you just decay the Stoneforge to buy some time, or is that?
I think you just play Goyf.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily need to decay Stoneforge. Although it looks like I believe Kyle does have Batterskull in his hand.
That is the risk.
That's a pretty big tell, I think, when your opponent doesn't get Batterskull against your Bug deck.
Yeah.
In general, that's the best card against Bug strategies. Like Batterskull is just so hard to remove.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very rare they have a solid answer for it.
I mean, like we see Ned has Maelstrom Pulse, so
Mm-hmm.
like he has some play. He might be able to snipe the Batterskull, but
Yeah, I think that's the benefit here is that he's
Yeah.
going to be able to do that. Because Kyle will need to play 2 mana sources in order to have it safe. Although that's not true. Kyle will be able to pass and then end step put in the Batterskull.
yes.
And he's going to get to untap, and it's pretty unlikely Ned will be able to kill it. All right.
Yeah, the question is like, will Kyle actually expose it or not ever? So here, passing with Stoneforge activation up, he just casts Sword of the Meek. So I think if I'm Ned, I am wary of what's going to happen.
Yeah, the fact that he specifically did not activate the Stoneforge Mystic for this is pretty alarming, I think.
Yep.
Just second Goyf.
Just loads up on second Goyf. Oh, and also thank you guys who are following in the chat just now. West Paul and X12 Kevin 12X. Thank you guys both for following.
Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, right now I think Ned is actually just thinking about whether or not he can attack. Goyf is a 2-3 at the moment, and if Kyle has the Batterskull, this is just such a blowout.
Agreed.
And unluckily for him, Kyle has the Batterskull.
Yeah, and Ned doesn't even have Abrupt Decay mana up here.
Nope. Playing the Goyf pre-combat, I think, was a little loose.
Yes, I agree. There just wasn't
A real reason to do it.
right.
I think if you're going to attack, you definitely attack before you play that Goyf.
I feel like this tournament's going to be Ned getting the rust off.
knocking the boots, so to speak. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Kicking the tires. That's what I meant. Not even close. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying.
See how many phrases we can use incorrectly in one night. I can supply a fair amount of incorrect. Yeah.
What? Say the word.
I don't know.
Idioms.
Idioms.
Smart guy. Don't you work in copywriting?
Oh, be quiet.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Kyle taking 2 from Ancient Tomb here. Oh yeah, Sword of the Meek getting on top of the Batterskull. Let's pull up Sword of the Meek. Gives it +1/+2. Oh yeah, so that's 5-point life swing right there, putting Kyle up to 23, and 3 mana available to bounce Batterskull. Something goes wrong. Yeah, this is a nightmare.
Yep. I really can't see Ned coming back from this one.
I mean, decaying the germ is not nothing, but it's a lot to fight through.
The fact that Houtman already has the mana on board to just move it over to Stoneforge is
It's pretty awful, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna see. I think Ned will be likely to decay the germ here.
It kind of seems like he has to just buy himself some time.
Yeah.
Because if he does this and then Houtman spends his whole turn moving the Batterskull over to Stoneforge, then Ned gets a really great turn of decaying Stoneforge.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. I think It's really unfortunate he's missing these land drops, though. We might even see him decay the germ a second time.
Yeah, his hand is super clunky here. I mean, I wonder if Houtman's just going to bounce Batterskull and put it right back in with Stoneforge just to, not have to open himself up to
Something like a Vendilion Click.
Yeah, I mean, any number of things here.
Yeah. Whoa, that's another extremely good draw, though. Actually, wow.
Jace plus Stoneforge activation?
No, he's 1 mana short.
I think he has land.
Oh my god, you're right.
Ancient Tomb is a powerful land.
Ancient Tomb is nuts. Yeah, he gets to go, he could... This is really gross.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. Yeah, the fact that he has... I mean, he could also go get the Thopter Sword combo, but I feel like getting Jason play is quite a bit better.
He has any number of good turns here.
Yeah, Kyle's hand is just straight gas.
Yeah.
Transmute is worse.
Yeah.
Transmute, typically the kind of card that I like wait. It seems like it's best to wait on it until you have a slam dunk option,
Yeah.
Like, here he would just be doing it sort of setting up for a longer game plan, like... So it looks like he's getting rid of Sword.
Yep.
Getting another 2-drop.
So the way Transmute Artifact works is that you cast it, and then as it resolves, you sacrifice an artifact and pay mana based on the card you're going to get. Based on the CMC of the card you're going to get, you pay the difference. Only if it costs more. So he goes Transmute, and if and you basically just can't get 2 for 1. No, it's not additional cost.
Let's take a look at Transmute.
Nope, it is not an additional cost. Sacrifice an artifact. The Oracle text is very strange. Why is it... It's different in 2 places. Okay, so this is... Sorry. I'm reading 2 Oracle texts, and it's very weird.
This is the text from the card.
No, it's
I
not.
think.
Nope, that's the Oracle text.
Oh. I don't know where they got this from. Decked. Yeah.
If we have any judges in the chat that would care to
look at Gatherer.
teach people about Transmute
The sacrifice of an
artifacts.
artifact is an effect of the spell, not a cost. Which means it happens on the spell resolves. So that's just incorrect. But yeah, Sword coming in. Has he gained 2 life?
Yes.
But he lost 2 life from the Ancient Tomb?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have to change anything. Great.
Perfect.
My life is wonderful. Ponder. See what Ned finds. Any good action here? Sees Brainstorm at least among the other options. I mean, he has Decay, which can at least take care of the Thopter Foundry, which, if nothing else, makes his Goyf a 5/6.
Does.
He also has Maelstrom Pulse, which is sort of waiting in the wings to clean up certain parts. This is still a very tough spot for him to navigate through.
Like, not having another land or a Deathrite Shaman or something, it's going to be kind of tough for Ned to get a turn where he can actually nab the Batterskull.
Yeah.
And not just, delay it with Abrupt Decay or something.
I wonder if Kyle... Probably... Yeah, Kyle's just going to jump block here.
Yeah,
Throw-
that's fine.
Throw a 1/1
That's
Thopter in front of it.
It's the safe play.
Yeah. See an activation of Stoneforge Mystic on the end step. Ned's going to respond by decaying the Thopter Foundry.
Okay.
I think it's a good spot to do this.
Yeah, so we knew Batterskull was probably coming back down.
Yep. There's very little he's going to be able to do about that.
Yeah, and now shields are back up for being able to bounce Batterskull. That part of Batterskull is so silly.
I agree.
It's so...
pretty dumb.
The card was already great.
All right, Kyle lining up an attack here. Potentially for 7.
Yeah.
Putting that down to 12, gaining Kyle 4
4
life,
life,
up to
yeah.
22. It's just so hard to race Kyle's deck because of all the life gain.
Batterskull is a good card.
As is the Thopter Foundry combo. So Kyle right
Yeah.
here. So this is an interesting spot because if he does decide to go for Jace, while it will resolve, Ned does not have Force of Will ready, it will expose his Batterskull to Maelstrom Pulse. But at the same time,
You have Jason play.
yeah, I don't know what Ned is more likely to be in a long game.
Like here, are you just Jacing and bouncing Tarmogoyf, or are you brainstorming?
Ooh, Days. Take 2.
All right, take 2, yeah. Turning Daze into Shock.
Shock you and draw land. And Goif back in the hand. just almost tossed it away. All right, we'll see if Ned can crawl out of his third Goif. I mean,
this seems hard to recover from.
This Pulse is getting cast this turn. The question is what it's going after.
Jace and Batterskull are both extremely problematic.
Oh, she's going to Toxic Deluge, paying
Deluge.
4 life. I mean, this is actually not the worst scenario in the world, because now this is setting himself up to Pulse Jace next turn.
Yeah.
The downside here is, well, I guess Kyle will not be able to replay Batterskull this turn.
Yeah, the fact that Stoneforge is gone does hamper Kyle's mana efficiency with manipulating his Batterskull.
Yeah.
And also not having something like Baleful Strix or a creature to just put Batterskull directly on is also a little bit awkward.
Yep. Looks like Kyle's one card in hand is Force of Will, which he can hard cast, which is huge here. Because that's going to be able to counter this Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Ned has another choice, but well, he is considering. He could
play Goif.
He could Ponder, but yeah, this is a blowout.
Ugh. Vile.
Yes.
Just gross. And now it's just... If Ned draws a land here, he maybe has a way... he needs Kyle to brick, but, Kyle is free to start brainstorming now.
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, he's got a Fate Seal, though. Is it him to Torak?
Sure.
Leaving that on top seems good. I'm sure Kyle can cast whatever spell is in his hand. Ooh, is this...
Okay.
Oh, that was a really good draw.
That is why you're fate sealing.
Yeah, jeez, yeah.
You
And
can
Ned's
have
just,
him to Turok.
Ned's just done there. He's not going to be able to fight through that. And Kyle playing Esper Tessera, taking down Ned Kadayip on Bug Delver in 3 games. I'm happy I got to see what the Esper deck did there. And I'm also interested to see how it was nice seeing how good Stoneforge Mystic was, where that wasn't present in his deck list before.
Yeah, just being able to get Sword of the Meek is pretty sweet in his deck. It seems like that is his best kill condition, honestly, the Thopter Sword combo.
Yes, it's extremely reliable against a lot of decks. The
Yeah.
life gain makes it extremely hard for aggro decks to race you.
Right. Any fair
really
deck,
good.
it seems like your best route to victory.
I think that's why people are afraid of having that unbanned in Modern, is because it's really hard to race it if you're playing a fair deck.
Yeah, it seems pretty great against Affinity or Burn.
It's unfortunately they're blue, so they can't block Etch Champion.
Okay.
But yeah,
And
no, it's still
everything.
insane. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Yeah, it's outstanding. It's pretty slow to beat Burn,
Sure.
but it's quite good against Affinity. It's quite good against it's like a Wildly Cattle deck.
Yeah.
You just have blockers forever.
Yep.
Unless they Pride Mage it.
Instead, Bitter Blossom, you're losing life. Instead, you are gaining life.
Better Blossom. But it's pretty powerful. I can understand people being hesitant to unban that card in Modern because the sort of gameplay it promotes is pretty
A
miserable.
little repetitive.
Oh, extremely. It's drawn out.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like a painful end.
Oh, yeah. It's
What's
very
more
painful.
painful, that or hitting someone with a Celestial Colonnade 4 times?
That.
Okay.
Easily. Hitting someone with a Colonnade is easy because they're usually at 15 life, 14 life or something
Yeah, I guess
that.
a lot of people are already at pretty low life, and the chunks that are taken are pretty substantial.
Yeah. I'm always... I played a lot of Celestial Colonnade in my time.
How destroyed are your Colonnades?
They're in horrible condition.
Those are my favorite cards.
What,
The ones
my Colonnades?
No.
Okay.
Your Colonnades are probably my favorite. No, I look at my Snapcasters, for example.
They're so bad.
They are disgusting.
They might be worse than mine because I didn't actually play mine in Standard. I got them.
Yeah.
I got them when they were in Standard.
Sure.
And then I didn't have enough cards for Delver because I couldn't afford Geists.
Sea Krumkos?
I had Sea Krumkos. No, I think the most played cards I own are either Colonnade or Remand.
Okay.
My Remands look like someone threw them outside and stepped on them. I've been playing those since the first PTQ season in Modern.
That's a while.
In a lot of PTQs and stuff like
deck.
that. Yeah, a lot of my decks play Remand. So yeah, they're hideous. They're so gross, and the Colonnades have sort of often come with them.
Right. Because why not?
Yeah, the Remands are worse though. They're even worse. They're disgusting. I'm so, they're very thin too. They're disgusting. My Remands are remanded. Oh, come on, that's rude.
Yeah.
Should I hop out and see if any matches are going? I feel like
Sure.
we're probably done. Probably
Yeah,
round
I
3.
agree.
quick. It's gonna be a quick night tonight.
Yeah, we only had 8 people show tonight. Still a little cold. Still, people are recovering, I think, from the weekend because we had the 2K here on Saturday, and there's also a few preliminary Pro Tour qualifiers coming up this weekend that people, I think, are planning on playing. You only have so many nights a week that you can give to Magic if you have a busy social schedule. But yeah, I would say actually my Tarmogoyfs are pretty destroyed, but I actually haven't played them that much. But I mean, at least relative to like my Snapcasters, which are also completely destroyed. But what can you do? Other notable cards of mine that are destroyed. I have a playset of Delvers that are very shuffled. Also, my Vapor Snags, I think, are pretty disgusting, as are my Cloudfin Raptors. So, playing a lot of little crappy blue creatures. Let's see. Any other questions in chat? What is going on? Oh, also, I know, so if anyone's watching the 2K on Saturday here, we're actually going to be having another one in February, but it is the same weekend as GP Houston, which Phil and I are going to. So we are going to be having different casters for that 2K, it looks like. I don't think the date's going to get changed or anything. Phil and I aren't that special. So Gibbous chimes in with, my Scrublands are sleeve playable. I like that. Playable enough. Emperor, I don't think we have any Shardless Bug players here tonight. Decks that I am aware of being in the room are... So we know we have Nathan playing Storm, Kyle playing Reanimator, Zeke playing Maverick, Kyle Houtman playing Esper Tezzeret. Simon is here, I think, playing Zoo, presumably. That's what he's played for a while. And Ned playing Bug Delver, that's 6. The last 2 people, I think Phil might be finding those last 2 people, actually. But, yeah, so we might see Ant again, Gibbous, because Nathan, it does look like is doing well tonight. Ooh, Death Reigns, thank you for the follow. Following is the best thing, probably the best thing you can do to support our stream and show Card Market that, Phil and I and everyone else are doing good jobs commentating, and that it's bringing attention to the store, to the stream, and just building a following is super valuable, and we can hopefully do bigger and better things as we move forward. Big example, the 2K this past Saturday was a really cool thing. And thank you, Tinfin and Snowy and Rogue 00701. Thank you guys for following. Kevin 12X, I do not take good care of my Death and Taxes deck. My Rishadan ports in particular are very grimy. But I also recently, so my Death and Taxes deck, I had managed to get like half of it foiled, and then I completely gave up on the rest of it. So I just defoiled everything. I have Ice Age Plains in there now instead of like the foil Mercadian Masculines I had in there, and now I have no qualms about riffle shuffling and doing basically whatever. So it will get grosser and grosser from now on. And Gibbous, please, always more sass. We like sass. Mostly Phil and I do this just so we can make fun of each other, because that's probably, for both of us, our favorite things to do, collectively. Oof. TX Rager says, my previously mint Tabernacle has seen better days. But was it worth it? Probably worth it. Probably killed a lot of creatures. Or at least tapped a lot of mana. And it also killed a lot of creatures. And what else? Sass versus Salt. It's close. They go well together. One leads to the other, and vice versa. And yeah, I think Phil is out in the field, either looking to see if we can have another match move on camera for this round, or it might just be that we're going to be jumping into round 3 soon, because only having 8 players, the rounds are likely to finish up pretty quickly, especially since we have, 1 copy of Storm and 1 copy of Reanimator in the room, and they're both pretty fast decks. So, Phonics says, I got my Goyfs for $30 because they had a nice shuffle crease in the back. Yeah, I got my Goyfs at, well, it was past the point where they were 30, but I got my Goyfs at, I think, 80, and they were already pretty beat. I think TCG mid at the time where I got them was maybe $40 more, so I got a pretty nice discount because I want to play the card, not, keep it locked under, or locked in under, keep it under lock and key. I was going to get there eventually. Nettle Sentinel's Bayous are played at best. Yeah, that seems likely for Nettle Sentinel. I wonder... we haven't seen much elves lately. Even in the wider scope of like legacy at SCGs, it just I don't know what's been happening to elves. I guess maybe just the fact that Storm and Miracles are the 2 most popular decks, it just makes elves not a great choice. What do we got?
So sorry, they were in turns. It was Enchantress versus lands.
Okay.
And it was control lands, so there was a lot of engineered explosives happening. It was something like there's a chalice on 2 that Simon he quarantine field a Bob and a Sphere of Resistance.
Okay.
Because he was at 1. And then Andrew explosives for the second time to kill the field.
Okay.
He had just explosives away 3 of Simon's enchantments, including the Nevermore on Life Malone. And then passed back. Simon hit a bunch of other random crap.
Mm-hmm.
Still, specifically Eidolon of Blossoms.
Right.
And his hand was like mostly 2-drops that he couldn't cast, which is great. And then Andrew passed back. He passed to Andrew. Andrew on turn 1 went like Bajuka Bog you, so Replenish is dead, and do a few other things, but like nothing, and like Wasteland you.
So no one was doing anything.
No, both players were staring at each other.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Rishadan Port is super good against Utopia Sprawl. So land seems very favored.
So is Flicker Wisp.
Yes, true. Elephant Grass is a thing, but it's probably just not sufficient. Well, Andrew's deck is also like very prepared for that sort of stuff. Okay, Merit Lage is black, right? Is it black creature?
Yes.
Yeah, so Elephant Grass means it just can't attack.
Yeah, the version that Bowman is playing with that has more interaction, like explosives, like you said, seems a lot better set up to address the permanents that Simon's putting out.
Yeah.
Just more things that interact with the permanents.
Oh yeah,
in general.
Yeah, the fact that he has multiple explosives, he has Academy Ruins, like.
And he still has Corrosion Grip, like the normal stuff.
Yeah, and he even has Abrupt Decay. It's pretty good. And yeah, Nettle Sentinel Elves is great. Elves is a delight. There's a version I really want to try, which has been dubbed by Julian Knob Chaos Elves, because there is no order. Specifically, there's no natural order, which is great because I hate that card. Natural order is just the worst.
I hate it too, but I feel like for different reasons.
Yeah, whatever. You can't beat Glimpse either. It's actually what's funny about playing against Death and Taxes is that you can name any card in Elves and Death and Taxes can't beat it. Any card.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. You can beat like the second. No, you never beat the second Gaia's Cradle. You can beat the third Gaia's Cradle because you usually can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, wait. 4-mana Elf Champion. Are you talking about Ren's Run Packmaster? Because that card is delightful. It had like no natural orders. He had a Ren's Run Packmaster, a Shaman of the Pack, one what's the guy? Dwynen's Elite was in there.
The one who the 2/2 for 2 that
makes a 1/1. It's good with that. It's good with Heritage Druid.
Okay.
On a turn you're comboing. Having him one, just one.
Sure.
And a maiden deck Gaddock.
Just so he's very tuned against miracles.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
The deck is even a Cavern of Souls in it.
Yeah, so he's like built
It's very, very tuned to beat miracles.
Yeah, to like grind, like be more resilient to Terminus.
Yep, you're just going to be slower against combo because you just don't have as many I win cards.
Yeah,
Gaddock is something.
Was he like boarding a natural order package?
No.
Not worth it. Okay.
Nope. I personally hate natural order. Like, the only reason I think it's even present a lot of the time is to,
Kill on turn 3.
yeah, like kill on turn 3 more often.
Yeah.
But like, it's not reliable against Force of Will, and a lot of the format is Force of Will. Like, for instance, if I was going to a Grand Prix, I would be pretty tempted to just not play. Well,
You just wouldn't play elves. You would just play Storm.
okay, yes, that's true, but that's not the point.
Okay.
Like,
You
if I
would
was-
play Dwynen's Elite instead.
I would consider it. Like, the possibility of just like not playing natural order is very appealing to me. Like,
Okay.
the idea of
Well, we are going to a Grand Prix not that long from now. It's in the
Not-
summer.
not that long from now.
You gotta lock it in tonight, Phil.
Thanks, Greg. Rurik Thar, man, you just like couldn't give me enough money to play that card.
I have a foil one. You want it?
Nope, definitely not.
Okay.
That's like I want it even less. Hate foil cards, except for my cube, of course. But no, I just like can't stand Rurik Thar. Every time I think about playing that card, I just figure that like they're mostly corner case scenarios where it's just going to be better than Crater Hoof. Most of the time, Crater Hoofing them and just putting them to like 2, it's like enough.
Yeah. Storm probably still can't kill you from 2.
David, you'll be at the GP. That's awesome. I'm
Nice.
assuming, where is it?
Columbus?
Oh, Columbus. Then absolutely.
Right?
That's
I think.
driving distance. Anything that's driving distance is just.
If anyone could confirm that. That's also where the first Legacy GP was, too, right? I think that was also Columbus.
Like 06?
Yeah.
Jeez, that was a while ago.
That's like the one that was won by, what's his name? New York guy, whose name is slipping my mind right now.
no idea.
I definitely drafted with him when I was growing up, and he definitely was part of the
Crew
Mike,
that beat the crap out of you while
yeah,
drafting?
the Mike Flores crew that would come around to us high school kids when they didn't have 6 people and asked if 2 people wanted to hop in.
We need 2 more.
Yeah.
Was Calcana one of them?
Well, he was always the first one they asked, and then they would say, "Calcano, which of your friends has packs?"
I mean, I hope you were able to defeat Mike Flores in some of these drafts.
Well, all right. Flores is like part of that group. He would just like stand behind and watch. He
Not a
never
drafter.
actually drafted himself because
Yeah.
he's not the best at limited. I think he would admit that himself as well.
I'd say I'm a fan of memes. Are you
Yeah.
a fan of memes? All right, good.
No, I'm not.
I think Mentor is pretty awesome in Legacy. I think the Esper Mentor deck is, it's not, and Vintage is just nuts. It's just a ridiculous card in Vintage. But,
Steve Sadin.
Steve Sadin.
That is the
yeah.
name.
He's won
that was
multiple
escaping
GPs,
me.
right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Didn't he win a Pro Tour?
No, not that good.
Did he top 8 a Pro Tour?
Oh,
I feel like he may
I think
have.
he maybe has
definitely-
only tap weighted multiple Grand Prix.
Okay, so problem is that he's written... Okay, there's another guy named Steve Sadin.
Definitely this Steve Sadin.
Yes, not the old guy who apparently writes for the Tribune.
Ooh.
Steve Sadin ruins Magic again. That's a good title. Counterbalance. Yeah, he won with Counterbalance, right? It was
think he
07. Columbus.
7.
I think that was it. Yeah, I think I've been very impressed with Mentor. I think Mentor's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's
It's so good with top.
hold on, I want to see if they. Wow, I'm incredible.
Right on time.
I just guessed that maybe they were starting, and they are. This is Andrew. It's Andrew, right? More heavily altered cards.
Yeah, I saw an Engineered Explosives. That's Bowman.
Yep.
All right, so we actually have Kyle Hauptman sitting on the left this time. He is on Esper Tezzeret, and on the right is Andrew Bowman, who's playing. I'm gonna call it lands, but
It's control lands.
yeah, it's not the.
It's not traditional red-green lands.
Yeah, it's not the standard build. He has a large blue mana component to the deck.
Yeah, it makes it much more controlling than traditional builds of lands.
And this looks like a quick Chalice the Void on 1.
I like the idea of Kyle Hauptman playing against Kyle Hauptman for at least 1 second there.
I liked it.
Call it 4 color lands.
Sure.
It might be 5 color.
It might be. Well,
No, I don't think he's playing white.
there is a Windswept Heath in play.
Pretty sure just every land is a forest.
Okay. So that's to throw us off the scent?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, he got me. I didn't expect it at all.
Definitely got me.
Yeah. All right. Andrew immediately wastelanding Kyle's Ancient Tomb, and Kyle does not have a second land. Ooh,
Sure.
Urborg. Wonder if this means we have a Life from the Loam coming. If so, this is very bad news for Kyle. Kyle's a deck that plays a bunch of wastelands, but lands aptly is the best wasteland deck.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle can afford to play many basics. He certainly does not have one in his hand right now, although he does have 2 copies of Mox Diamond. And
Interesting.
he might be able to work around Life from the Loam getting back Wasteland by just pitching his non-basics to his Mox Diamonds.
Ooh, so Andrew playing an Explosives on 0 and passing back.
So that sniffs out Kyle pretty well there.
Wow, this is a fantastic screen name. Wombologist, PhD. It's a great SpongeBob SquarePants reference right there. This is definitely pretty awful for Kyle's
Ooh.
Mox Diamonds. He's got to pass back. Kyle does have lands in his hand, but he just doesn't want to play them.
Well, Bowman cracking the explosives. Well, I understand, obviously, he wanted to get the Chalice the Void off the table. This does unlock the Mox Diamonds in Hauptman's hand.
Mox Diamonds were... Oh, I mean, yeah. It makes them safe.
Yeah, he didn't want to deploy them because they would just get eaten by the explosives.
Yep. All right, Andrew looks like he does have a 1-drop. It's Mana Bond. Uh-oh. This is usually a terrifying point for for anyone.
Yeah.
See, another 1-drop? Raven's Crime? I'm sure Kyle has an abundance of cards that he's willing to discard here. Oh, it looks like he only has 1 land. That's why he's not playing the Mox Diamond.
Mana Bond's sort of like a one-sided hypergenesis in this deck.
A little bit. Although he's not triggering it.
He's not.
Decided not to use it this turn. We'll pull up Mana Bond for a second here. You don't have to use it. It is a May. But yeah, at the beginning of your end step, you may reveal your hand and put all land cards into the battlefield. If you do, discard your hand.
I mean, he could be setting up a turn where he, like, Life from the Loam's...
Yeah, gets back like 3 lands.
Yeah,
and then does it.
then can do it to just get a huge Mana Bond off.
Yeah, without Loam, he doesn't really have much going on. And he's got Exploration, but still just... No, without the Loam, his draw is very slow. I think he may have another Teleria West in his hand.
Ooh.
All right, we'll see what Kyle wants to do here. Plays Flooded Strand. He can Mox Diamond this turn. Mox Diamond discarding Underground Sea. Cracks the Flooded Strand. Let's see if he decides to get a basic here.
Wonder how... Okay, he does have at least a basic island.
He has a Swamp as well. We saw a Swamp last round.
Okay.
Let's see what Kyle has here.
I think it might just be...
Stoneforge.
Well, yeah. That seems fine.
Yeah. I mean, it gives him a clock, gives him something to do. Andrew has to kill it.
Do you go get Batterskull here?
I think so.
Nope. Going for combo. Or, plus 1 attack.
Yeah, I mean, what this does is this means that, I mean, this pairs very well with the Thopter Foundry that's in his hand, and it gives him insurance against any Merit Lages.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about, how much mana Hauptman's going to have access to. I guess having the basic is some nice insurance that even if there is another explosives or something, that he'll still have some mana.
Yeah.
But, oof.
Ooh, I wonder if this will get Academy Ruins. Yeah. That seems good. And he gets to play it as his extra land for the turn.
Yeah.
Also being able to port Kyle. So Kyle will have to decide immediately whether or not he wants to activate a Stoneforge Mystic.
He's probably going to have to. Because otherwise I don't know if he'll have much of a turn in all likelihood.
Yeah, Andrew's decks are always heavily altered and look gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love the Trop altar.
A number of...
Alright, so Kyle getting ported in his upkeep here. I think you could just put in the sword. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he's just going to do it.
he doesn't have another
Land.
like he doesn't have another play in his hand already, so I think he has to just accept that he gets to do something this turn.
Yeah, he doesn't have another land to discard for his Mox Diamond. This is sort of a rough spot. Just gonna have to pass back to Andrew Bowman. Andrew draws. Ugh, that's a good one. Explosives. I mean, he's already got like explosives that he can put on top. If he just pops one for 2 here, he could even pop one for 0, and that would be fine.
Yep.
A lot of good choices. This is like the explosives lock seems extremely hard for Kyle to fight through.
Yeah, being a deck that's so heavily reliant on a number of onboard permanents sticking around, like
It's asking a lot.
yeah, and not having a way. I mean, I guess he has. Does he have wastelands in his deck?
Yep.
Okay.
But
So in theory, he could maybe get out from under the Academy runes, but
I think he has 3 copies of Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus in his hand.
perfect.
Fantastic.
And know the land.
Yeah, Wumbo, no excessive caps. We got a rule here. All right, what do we got here? Explosives that has been put on top for 2, cracked, and now Kyle has an island
Yeah.
facing down a
I
port.
think this might be the point at which I would be interested in sideboarding.
I don't even know if I would maybe concede the match.
Yeah.
We're just done here.
You're just done.
Don't need to play this anymore. Let's see if Kyle has anything to add. I'm just gonna pass back.
Soldiers on.
See if Andrew doesn't activate. He's got just Punishing Fire in his hand.
That's a win condition.
Eventually when he draws red mana. Ooh, 5?
What on
Worm
earth?
Harvest.
All right, that's
Speaking of win conditions,
that's a win condition.
Worm Harvest put a 1/1 black and green worm onto the battlefield for each land card in your graveyard as retrace.
Modern Masters Limited. I'm not going to say All-Star. I'm going to say
it existed.
Win condition.
Yes. Yeah, in the original Modern Masters, this was a tough one to get going. This is not an easy mana cost to apply. But yeah, this gives him 3 1/1s for each land he draws. This is another 3 1/1s. This is a great win condition against Bridge from Below. Or not Bridge from Below. Against Ensnaring Bridge.
All right, so Houtman actually getting some access to mana
This
this
feels
turn.
feudal though to me. I don't know. I
It
feel
does.
I just feel like he's a victim to the top of Andrew's deck. Like if Andrew ever draws a loam, I just don't know how Kyle can win.
Yep. Or Intuition for Loam. Like there are any number
Anything
of draws.
that's virtually loam.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The 4-color lands deck does play a lot of redundant loam effects. Oh yeah, this is pure misery. That's why I appreciate this deck so much. Is that you're committed to misery in a very unique way.
Yeah.
Well, he drew the Grove, so at least we have that going now.
Yeah, stage depths with Gamble. It's way too fast.
Agreed. You gotta take some time.
Way too focused on winning the game. Ooh, Grove.
Yeah, Grove is a nice one.
This is some pain. This is some misery right here.
Kyle gonna gain a life, which is so nice of Andrew, and then that Stoneforge Mystic goes down.
And Dratini's are getting in there.
Get in there. They might appear to be white, but they are black and green. And then Kyle's getting ported, and this is just a delightful experience for both players.
It's great.
Andrew increasing his speed, making sure that he doesn't, take as much time as he really possibly can. This deck's not the quickest. Oh yeah, second exploration, why not?
Port is one of my favorite cards.
Of course it is. I'm glad. I'm glad that it's one of your favorite cards. I love the take 1 from Punishing Fire. That's pretty delightful. It's like Glacial Chasm, which you just can't even play. Yeah, why not?
I'd really like to see them reprint Rishon Port in Standard.
Please leave. You can go.
Maybe also if they put Aether Vial in the same Standard format.
Okay,
I would enjoy it.
You can stop now. That's
All right.
fine. Worm Harvest
Well,
getting retraced for 5.
I didn't play Standard or Type 2 when Rishon Port was, in every single deck.
Oh, do you feel left out?
I do. I feel like I missed it.
Kyle, not in a great spot. I'm going to say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
No, I think this might be beyond repair.
It's pretty close.
Maybe.
Don't believe he has any main deck deluges.
Never say never.
I
Except right now.
don't know about never. right, here's a Thopter Foundry. Ancient Tomb. It's going to take 2 here. Sacrificing the... Okay, so he's going to gain 1 from that. Sacking the sword twice. Okay, great. So he just stays at the same life total. All right, so Kyle is forcing us to continue watching this game. So we get to see what's going to happen. I mean, Port is pretty ineffective here. This is like reasonably a way to fight through what's happening, but this is still an attack for a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's just gonna Punishing Fire, right? That'll do it.
I mean, he just doesn't have very much red mana. He's just
Yeah.
double checking that this is a 2/3.
Yeah, you don't want to Punishing Fire that one, really.
Nope, it's not very good. We'll see what Andrew decides to do
You
here.
can probably afford to let one of your Dratinis go.
Yeah, I think Shivan Gorge is basically Punishing Fire, one biologist. All right, 6 coming through at Kyle. He's going to 4 here. He's going to gain 1, go to 5.
You might see Punishing Fire finish off the equipped.
Takes down the 2/3, 1/1 Blue Thopter.
Mm-hmm.
See if he has any other plays. Just a Bajuka Bog. Oh, he really wants to get the sword, but it's so difficult to do. He's going to pass. Ports the Ancient Tomb in the upkeep. Kyle's going to activate it, take 2, gain 2 to make 2 more 1/1s.
Yep.
And draws a card.
Very nice arcade post tokens.
Yeah, those are sweet.
His owl tokens.
Batterskull is in Kyle's deck. He has a Stoneforge Mystic package. Looks like he drew Chalice of the Void for the turn, but nothing really good to play it on. He could preemptively play it for 0, but like it's not a card that does anything against Engineered Explosives.
Really, against lands, you want to set it to 2 to turn off a loam.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even what's beating Houtman here.
Yeah. I think we're just going to see another retrace this turn.
Yeah.
Andrew's just making more tokens than Kyle can deal with at a time.
Yeah, with not enough mana, it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to keep up with the Worm Harvest.
God, I got to say, I do appreciate the misery on both sides of the table here.
It's pretty great.
All right.
Houtman going up to 6 life with 1 activation of Thopter Foundry.
So you're going to block 3 and go to 3.
So yeah,
Yep.
just out of range of
Punishing Fire.
Punishing Fire.
He's 2 off. Because
Yeah.
Andrew's still red
right,
source.
right,
Only
right.
red source is the Grove itself.
Good point.
But we've got 6 more tokens coming
Next turn should do it.
Worm Harvest.
Yep, we got 6. Yeah. Kyle reading Worm Harvest. Oh, does he have Force of Will? He does have Force of Will.
All right.
Hey, we're not dead.
He got a use out of one of those Tezerets.
Oh yeah, that's pretty great actually. This game marches on.
Yeah.
All right,
Much to our delay.
I appreciate this. Kyle drawing for turn. He has to hit another land. This will. He still cannot cast Tezzeret. He's short of black source. He can cast Jite.
Is it better?
Wait, no,
Yeah.
this must put him to 1. I have to imagine this put him to 1 here, because otherwise this would make no sense.
Yes. 2 counters on the Jit. I wonder if he is just going to gain the life back.
I'm gonna figure out what life totals are real quick just to confirm.
Yeah. See Bowman untap here.
totals? Okay.
What is it?
He's at 3.
3. Okay.
I was off.
We're doing a great job.
We are, and also he's at 16. Okay, so this is what I was worried about here. If what I would be significantly worried about if I was Kyle. I don't know how you're going to beat this exact thing right here. We do have one Enchantress player here tonight, Simon, who is often playing Enchantress.
Who played against Bowman last round?
Yep.
In which they drew?
No. Andrew won.
Okay. So the draw was... Man. Oh, yeah. These players don't have a draw. Sorry.
Yep, these players... Yeah.
I am confused because of how the overplay was last week.
Yeah. It's all right. We got this. All right, so Andrew wastelanding Kyle, and now I believe we're just going to see a Worm Harvest retrace. This is pretty gross. And he gets a Dredge Loam next turn. All right, I think we basically approached the point of no return. Is he trying to pass? He could port and ruins.
He could.
Ruins on 2 is probably enough.
Yes.
I mean, sorry, explosives on 2 to lock up this game.
Mm-hmm.
Ports the Tundra. Let's see if Kyle responds here. And this is, I think we've, it took some time, but we finally hit the hard lock here. The Loam getting back, the explosives coming down, and the Loam recursion is going to be pretty gross.
Yeah, and Bowman's just had such a crazy mana advantage the whole game. Like, and every turn that you have access to 3 to 4 more mana than your opponent, it's just, you just increasingly snowball your advantage.
Yeah, the game just becomes unmanageable from the other side of the board.
Yeah, you just don't get to do enough.
Mm-hmm. Your opponent's just doing so many more things than you. It's only so long you can last.
Yeah.
And that's really what Andrew's positioned himself. He has 2 explorations out. I mean, he only really needs... I mean, 1 is enough. But yeah, we're going to see him probably not dredge Loam this turn just to put explosives on top, and the EE on 2 should be enough to get through this. All right,
Yeah.
attack for 1 here. Let's see if Kyle does anything before blocks. He's going to pump. So it's going to put Andrew to 13. Gets 2 more counters on his GT. Andrew, I do not believe, has any decrees in his deck. I don't know which decree you're referencing.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, you could play many different decrees. I can say for certain there's no decree of annihilation, and probably no decree of silence.
I'm also going to say no decree of justice.
I mean, that's the most likely one, I would say, but he's not playing white.
Yes.
Decree of pain? Maybe. I don't know.
Is that the red?
Black.
Black?
Annihilation is red.
Okay.
Decree of pain is an infest when you cycle.
Okay, for like 5?
4.
It's 2 black to cycle?
Oh, it is 5.
Ah!
Got me. Sorry, what is that?
Original art,
There
please.
we go.
Oh, I know that art.
It is 5. Yeah,
That
come
art's-
on.
That art's awesome.
Oh yeah, man, casting Decree of Pain must be great. All right, Andrew, end of turn, Academy Ruinsing, Engineer Explosives, playing it for 2 and cracking it. We'll see how Kyle decides to use these GT counters. Yeah, he's just gonna kill all the 1/1s on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
He keeps his 2 1/1s, and he gets to make 1 more, gaining a life, going to 5. So he has 3 1/1s, but he's got to fight through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the downside is that Andrew can always just dredge back Loam to get a Glacial Chasm, which seems pretty insurmountable.
He can also Academy Ruins back his Engineered Explosives for 0 if he ever actually needs to kill off of these 1/1s.
Yep. All right, let's see if Kyle has anything to do this turn. So he's getting ported on his upkeep. No effects there. Gets the Hunter tapped. Draws a Force of Will, which is something. I mean, he just draw Force of Will basically every turn for the rest of the game. Attack for 3 here, putting Andrew down to 10. He's got 3 more. He's got 2 more in his deck at this point.
Yeah.
I have to think that Loam is just getting cast this turn. Or getting dredged and then cast.
Seems like a decent time.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is
He's just doing a quick count of lands in his graveyard. All right, Loam getting dredged, flipping Mazavith, Verdant Catacombs, and Rishadan Port.
Nice.
These are just all great.
Yeah.
I mean, like worst case scenario, he can just transmute for another explosive if there's a third. So this is targeting Port, Wasteland, and Glacial Chasm. Will Kyle force this? I think you kind of have to. Well, the downside is, he has a land in hand, so he could just Worm Harvest again, and Worm Harvesting again is probably enough to win the game. It's going to get him back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1/1s, plus the one that he discards, so 9. Oh, good.
Yeah. Seems like he just has to let this go and hope whatever he winds up Force of Willing buys him enough time to get his 1/1s.
Through. All right,
yeah.
so Wasteland taking down the Tundra, Bajuka Bog taking out Kyle's Graveyard. You know, see another Port played here. I think we're going to see Worm Harvest.
Seems likely. I think Bowman left with 2 lands in hand. So he can play a land and then retrace with the other one?
Yeah, he has Teleria West and Rishadan Port.
Does he have the requisite colored mana?
Well, he has an Urborg, so yes.
Okay. Are you sure?
I'm certain. I know it's altered, but it's there. All right,
So
5 mana.
Telling me this is good enough.
Retrace on the Worm Harvest. What does Kyle think about this? Give a quick count of lands here. I believe it's 9.
Well then. So this seems force-worthy.
Yeah.
If you're not forcing the loam earlier, it seems like this is the one you are forcing. The likelihood that he's able to get enough time here seems really unlikely to me.
Slim to none.
Yeah. He needs 3 more attacks.
Yep. And like the him getting back a Glacial Chasm this turn is likely going to be enough. All right. Loam getting dredged. Getting Exploration, Port, and another Loam. Loam getting cast. This one's going to resolve. Kyle has no Force of Will at the moment. Oh god, the ports and the chasm, just the rudest series of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hauptmann doesn't seem like he's going to get to go to his main phase with any untapped lands for the rest of the game,
yeah.
And also is going to have to contend with Glacial Chasm.
Yeah, depending on what Andrew wants to do this turn. Andrew has a lot of choices.
Yeah, he gets to play 2 lands.
3.
He also could, he could just mana. Oh, is that 2 explorations?
Yeah, I mean he has Mana Bond and Exploration,
Right.
so
Oh, okay.
2 explorations. Yeah.
So yeah, the bottom exploration is altered.
Yes. And the top exploration is a different art.
Yes.
All right, let's-
Making it easy for us is what you're telling me.
As always. All right, we'll see. All right, what's getting tapped here? Andrew figuring out exactly how he wants to tap his mana, what he wants to do this turn. I think Worm Harvest is incoming. Yep. Discarding Teleria West. No.
Retrace pretty sweet with Life in the Loam. You just never run out of ways to do it.
Pretty nutty.
Making a lot of Dratinis.
It's 5 1/1s.
That is enough.
Do we also see Glacial Chasm? Is that what's happening? Looks like we do.
Seems fine.
Small sequencing thing here. I think you're supposed to play Glacial Chasm first because you're sacrificing a land, so you actually missed a 1/1.
Yep, I agree.
Which can come up. Kyle untapping. Actually gets to... All right.
Yeah.
So he gets his mana, but this is a insurmountable enough problem.
Kyle did put up quite the fight there.
I'm legitimately impressed at what he did there. That was very, very impressive. But yeah, Andrew taking that one down. We're going to go see game 2 here. Have to think that all 4 copies of Leyline of the Void and Kyle's sideboard are coming in.
Yeah, this matchup, game 1 seems pretty rough. Rough for Hauptmann. It just seems like Bowman's deck is pretty well set up to deal with the threats that Hauptmann's able to produce, and just is very good at interacting with permanents on the board. And I think Hauptmann's going to need some pretty powerful sideboard effects here to, I guess, catch up in the matchup. But really, it seems like Bowman is, his deck is actually going to be improving post-board as well. Like, here we see he might be taking out things like Maze of Ith from his deck. Hauptmann's not really focused on making one big creature and protecting it, which is really where you want Maze of Ith. Other cards, I could see Bowman trimming or cutting completely. Punishing Fire doesn't seem super important.
I mean...
Like, you might want, a couple copies, but you probably don't need the full 4.
Yeah, I mean, it does kill Stoneforge Mystic, which is, a thing
Yeah.
that's going on. And it does finish Planeswalkers.
True.
Kyle's deck is very, very heavy on Jaces and Tezzerets, so being able to go upstairs and actually take them down is not irrelevant.
That's a good point, yeah.
Plus, he won't always be able to do explosives for 4.
Yeah. Not always.
Pretty often. Surprisingly often, I would say. I think I watched him... Oh, no, he announced it for 3. No, he announced it for 2 and then paid it for 3. Played it through his own sphere. Well,
Okay.
I'm interested to know if Andrew will bring any of his own taxing effects in against Kyle. I wonder if Kyle is going to cut his chalices.
So against Loam, typically, if you were going to chalice them, you'd want a Chalice on 2, but Hauptmann's deck is not built to function with a Chalice on 2, really. Like, he has a good amount of 2s in his deck.
Yeah, like if Chalice on 2 comes up, both players are sort of locked out of the game.
Yeah.
Like Kyle can't Thopter Sword and Andrew can't Loam.
And if that's the reality of the card in the matchup, then I think I would just want to get it out of my deck completely.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably not good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some temptation or just getting. No, I was going to suggest something stupid. Just get
goody.
Yeah, you just get to 6 mana, and you play it to get Crossing Grip off.
Oh, perfect.
Is that realistic? Sorry,
I'd say that's very real.
Wow, when did this card become $20?
It's a modern card. I think every modern card has like doubled or tripled in price in the past like month.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
There's a Pro Tour coming up.
I think it's also like when is the modern preliminary Pro Tour? Like, there's like one season of the year, right, where modern is the PPTQ format. I guess that's not until the fall or summer, maybe. So maybe that's not the reason for all the spikes. Maybe it's just people anticipating what's going to be good after the Pro Tour. Which is all like guesses, honestly.
Yeah.
Some guesses are safer than others, but
all right, we'll see. See how both decks are able to look post board. I'm very interested to see what Kyle's deck looks like post board, and see if the ley lines seem to be pretty excellent.
Agreed. Yeah, it seems like the biggest slam dunk conclusion here. But it's not like Bowman doesn't have game against it, because he's likely bringing in things like Crossing Grip. And
oh yeah,
Leyline of the Void's a pretty juicy target for that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you gotta kill something with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle's deck is not short good targets.
Agreed. Ooh, and this is a pretty awkward opener for Hauptmann. I think that was Baleful, Strix, Thopter, Foundry, 5 lands.
I'll tell you what it is. A mulligan.
That was a mulligan. I agree with that decision.
Andrew has kept his 7.
Yeah. Ooh, and Hauptmann on the play here, so he'll be down a card. Down 2 cards, actually.
I gotta say, I have to imagine that, like, when Chalice of the Void is when Chalice of the Void is bad, then the Tezzeret deck is so much worse. Because it seems like that's sort of always going to be the most important card.
That's sort of like...
It's the deck.
That's one of the issues with Chalice of the Void decks. You are eschewing playing a lot of the most powerful, efficient spells in the format because you want to be able to make Chalice of the Void realistic for your deck to play.
Oh, you mean like Brainstorm and Thoughtseize?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ponder, even.
Oh yeah, Ponder's
Swords
nuts.
to Plowshares.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of good 1-mana spells.
I'd say Swords is like significantly worse than those other 3 cards we named, and still a very extremely powerful.
Yeah. So by putting that restriction on your deck, you're basically saying, I'm going to make my deck this much less powerful overall, but Chalice of the Void is such a powerful effect, overwhelmingly powerful in the right matchups, that it's going to actually be good for me in the long run overall.
Yep.
But if you play against a bunch of matchups where Chalice is subpar, getting boarded out even, then I think your deck's going to just have some issues.
Yeah, they're few and far between, though. Really, almost every deck in Legacy is pretty soft to Chalice of the Void, or at least will be affected by it. Kyle starting things off with a Tundra and a Pass after a mulligan is 6. Looks like he has a pretty action light hand. He has a turn 2 Bridge if he wants it, and a turn 3 Tezzeret, or perhaps turn 3 Thopter Foundry, but nothing crazy. Andrew starting things off with a Mox Diamond into Wasteland You. What a rude guy. And an Exploration.
Oh my god.
Good lord.
This is a draw.
And a Rishid Import.
Wow.
Well, this is a tough thing to fight through. There's a Disenchant. And we're going to untap. I don't think Kyle's going to get to use that land this turn, though. Oh, just a second.
Or not ever.
Get that one out of here.
If there's a loam right now, I think we might see a concession.
Just a Dark Depths.
All right, just a Dark Depths.
First time we've seen Dark. I believe Andrew's version only has maybe 2 Dark Depths.
Okay.
I don't think he has too many.
I wonder if Bowman will port his own Dark Depths.
It's an interesting choice.
Elects not to.
Strong play.
Is that Dark Confidant?
Oh, it might be. I know he tends to board in Dark Confidant pretty aggressively, which seems really good. Very rarely are you punished for doing that with a deck.
Right.
Andrew quickly fetching, getting Tropical Island here. It's interesting how heavy the blue cards are in this deck. This is, a true blue-based lands control deck.
Yeah.
Such a weird combination of cards. But it's... Oh, yeah, he's got the Teleria West in his hand and everything.
And he has the Bob.
Figure Bob's going to come down here.
I mean, he doesn't get to port if he plays it, but that seems...
Well, he could Teleria West for Urborg.
He could.
I think that's what we're going to see.
So Teleria West for Urborg,
And then
you
you
can play Bob.
Yeah. And then, you just, it's Bob versus your opponent's one land, GT, and no creatures.
Yeah. Or he could just Teleria West for stage.
Yeah, that's also good.
He could just kill him.
And play stage and pass. Unfortunately for Andrew, Kyle does have the bridge for this.
Mm-hmm.
Which will stop Merit Lage from attacking.
Yeah, so then I guess Bowman's next way to get around bridge would be play Dark Confidant, hope to dig deep into his deck.
Oh.
But it doesn't seem like Houtman has the third land.
Oh, no.
So now...
And now it's just going to get ported.
He's going to get ported, and then Stage Depths will make Merit Lage.
Yeah, and Kyle's going to skip him up, and that's it. Andrew taking this thing down in 2 games. And what
really needed to draw that land there.
Yeah, if he hits the land, I think we see a real game there. But
yeah.
Andrew's draw was exceptional.
The double Wasteland, like in the first 2 turns...
With Exploration and Mox Diamond.
Oh my god.
It was an outstanding start.
The draws with Exploration are just...
powerful.
Yes.
Really good. If you could have that card in your opener all the time.
Yeah, it's like Aether Vial.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up our stream. A very short stream today. We only had 3 rounds and 8 players here, so things went very quickly.
Yeah.
But
everyone's burnt out from Saturday.
That's got to be it. I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Had a fun stream. Just want to reiterate our schedule here at MTG Card Market. We have every Wednesday we are streaming Modern at 7:30 Central, and every Thursday we have Legacy at 7:30 Central here in beautiful, actually not that cold, Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, Phil and I both biked today.
Yeah, well,
we're crazy.
You bike today is more notable because you have baby nerves.
I am a little baby.
That's what I meant to say. But yeah, thanks a lot for new followers today, Rad Green. Thank you. And Rogue, who I thought was already following, Death Reigns, Tinfin Snow. Thank you for following. Appreciate it. Always good to see new followers.
Yeah.
Trying to build up the stream as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Tardis Lover, thank you. Really appreciate that. And hope everyone has a good, safe weekend. I know we will probably be playing in a PPTQ and thinking about what we did wrong to put ourselves in that spot.
Especially when I beat Phil.
It's going to be great. In the mirror, probably, when I played no games.
Yeah.
I have way more confidence than I deserve. But thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Are we streaming next week? I think we're streaming next week.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.